want you to picture this. Take a World War II big blockbuster movie like Saving Private Ryan. Okay, now add the Kardashians TV series.
Hey. It's not okay though, it's not, on Roblox.
Give it an extremely low budget and a communist director, and I give you the Chinese war drama.
Jesus Christ.
Hi, my name is Craig Watson of the Pacific War Channel, and today we are diving into the batshit insane world of Chinese World War II dramas. Now, for those of you Westerners who've never heard of a Chinese war drama, you're in for a treat.
Hold on to your butts.
I am the guy who runs the Pacific War Channel, where I often blend real combat footage with cinematic footage for my content. When it comes to the Second Sino-Japanese War, one could look no further than the absolutely endless supply of Chinese World War II dramas. Now, in 1958, China aired its first TV drama titled One Piece of Cake, and from then on began pumping out drama anthologies. Then in 1980, a 9-episode TV series came out titled 18 Years in the Enemy Camp. This birthed a new model for Chinese TV series and ushered in the war drama. Since then, China had pumped out an ungodly amount of World War II dramas. And a major reason for this is because World War II dramas are the easiest shows to be greenlit by the infamous CCP censorship board. Now, as you can imagine, anything criticizing the current Chinese government or saying any of the 3 terrifying T words,
Taiwan as a country, Tiananmen Square massacre, Free Tibet, Dalai Lama.
Don't let your kids watch it!
yes, those T words will get you censored immediately. It's very difficult to make a TV show touching upon current events in China. So many turn to the past as a result. And speaking of one of those T words, Tiananmen Square. As an immediate result of the unspecified event that the CCP basically went into damage control over, to bolster support for the government, they turned to TV producers demanding they promote patriotism and hammer in anti-Japanese messages. It's easy to see why. Japan did brutalize China from the late 19th century all the way up to 1945. The CCP basically adopted the age-old strategy of blaming a foreign entity for their domestic failures. Now, because of this, the World War II drama dominates the market. To give you an idea of absolutely how nuts the industry is, according to Reuters in 2012 alone, over 100 movies and 69 TV programs were produced about the Second Sino-Japanese War. It's further estimated that the genre occupies about 70% of the market. Basically, the World War II drama market in China is akin to Godzilla in Japan. Now, anyone can see, especially the average Chinese viewer, most of the World War II dramas are just spoon-fed CCP propaganda. But this has led the TV producers and the public to sort of embrace it in a very funny way. Many World War II dramas are 100% satire, and their plots are made intentionally stupid as hell. The newer World War II dramas feature a ton of slapstick humor, sexual humor, and blue-collar humor, not to mention an absurd amount of violence. Hey guys, this is Craig from the Pacific War Channel. Please don't forget to check out my YouTube membership or my Patreon account over at www.patreon.com/thepacificwarchannel, where you can join the ranks and gain access to a hell of a lot of goodies. At the base minimum, you get access to the exclusive monthly podcast, early access to all of my content, voting rights for what subjects I will tackle next, and at higher tiers, I have much more goodies to come. So please click that link and check it out. The older Chinese generation typically watches them for the soap opera and violence, while the youth love the campiness of it. There's actually a giant meme culture built around it on Chinese social media. In the West, we would call it one of those "it's so bad it's good."
What does katana mean? It means Japanese sword.
But don't get any wrong idea here, there are actually great World War II dramas and incredible World War II movies in China. Take for example the recent 800 film, and yeah, I did a review of that, so go check it out.
Please! God damn it!
Now for a dumb Westerner like myself, who is absolutely not fluent in Mandarin, how do you watch any of these? On YouTube, of course. Yeah, just about all of them are fully on YouTube, but goddamn, you're gonna need Google Translate to navigate them. And if you do hunt them down, good luck finding subtitles. Now, if you're really adventurous, you can go surf the dark world of Bilibili, and boy oh boy, I have spent a long time in that dungeon. So why in the hell am I even talking about any of this? Recently, I had to watch a bunch of World War II dramas for my series on the Japanese invasion of North China. Highly recommend The Young Marshal, by the way. It's a very good series. Now, while we get into some of the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be talking about, take this scene from Let's Fight the Japanese from 2014. Very original title, might I add. In this scene, actress Gui Tian plays a wife of a resistance fighter, and they're caught by a Japanese soldier and a Chinese collaborator. So, she hides a grenade up her
pussy
right in front of them. The husband pulls it out, and she says, "Let's have an ecstatic moment one more time," before they pull the grenade pin and blow everybody up. Yeah, think that's messed up. Try Undercover Team Behind Enemy Line from 2011. Yes, the translation of these titles is a bit rough. In this one, a man makes a homemade bao bun grenade. He then bites into the bao bun before throwing it as a demonstration to his comrades. The grenade thing is kind of a running trope in these shows. And hell, check out this clip from a Chinese soldier tossing a grenade to destroy a fighter plane. That fucking happened. Then there was this very controversial 2011 series, Anti-Japanese Paladins, where a Chinese kung fu master literally rips a Japanese soldier apart with his bare hands.
Is he dead? Do you think he's dead?
Holy shit. These World War II dramas are over-the-top ridiculous and often steal stuff straight out of Hollywood. Remember that really bad movie, Wanted, where they curve the bullet? Well, in Gunslinger from 2012, they basically just stole that idea. Another thing that definitely has to be pointed out is how the main protagonists are usually absolutely gorgeous models, adding to the ridiculousness. And I mean, I'm not talking about just the bombshell women. God damn, they keep finding these hot K-pop ass looking guys to play Mao Zedong. The fucking hair, man, it's always ridiculous. Now, for you Westerners, like myself, why would you care about any of this? Why would you watch this? Honestly, for anybody interested in the Second Sino-Japanese War, you are extremely limited when it comes to movies or TV series. Simply put, most of the time, if you want to see a cinematic version of aspects of this history, well, it doesn't exist anywhere else to go. Take, for example, the incredible story of the Chinese Expeditionary Force who was dispatched to Burma and India to face the Japanese. Only cinematic stuff on that I am aware of is in like 2009, there was this show called My Chief and My Regiment. It's a really good series, by the way. What about content on the Fengtian clique of Zhang Zolin during the warlord era of China? The only thing I can think of for that is, well, the Young Marshal series, which covers the history of his son, Zhang Shuliang. And I really do recommend it. I had to watch the whole thing for my episodes. Thus, if you're really interested in such history, there are a few options, but unfortunately, Chinese World War II dramas are basically filled with historical inaccuracies.
What the hell is even that?
But many historians of the Second Sino-Japanese War argue China's renewed interest in the war shows that the country is at least normalizing its wartime experience. One of my favorite historians in this field, Rana Mitter, wrote in 2010, quote, "The history of China's wartime experience is becoming historiographically both globalized and normalized, and that we see trends similar to those seen in the interpretation of the wartime experience of other belligerent countries." Now, for those of you who are not aware, China and Japan got locked into a 15-year war after the Mukden incident of 1931. This is known as the Second Sino-Japanese War. Now, when Xi Jinping came to power, he pushed for three main themes to be in these World War II dramas: the great significance of the Chinese People's War, the war's important place in the global fight against fascism, and the central role of the CCP as a key to the ultimate victory.
Bullshit!
That last point is the one these World War II dramas notoriously plays around with. Many of these World War II dramas showcases incredible victories of the Chinese Red Army against the Japanese. But to be frank, Mao Zedong ordered the communist forces to avoid battle with the Japanese so they could build up their strength to fight Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist forces instead. Mao Zedong even publicly expressed gratitude twice to the Japanese because he argued they helped the CCP defeat the KMT. Truth be told, and to give you some real numbers, out of roughly 1,117 engagements between Chinese and Japanese forces, the CCP was only really involved in one, that being the famous 100 Regiments Offensive, where Peng Tuhui's 8th Route Army fought the Japanese Northern China Army, led by Lieutenant General Hayutada. While the 8th Route Army was indeed victorious, what did Mao Zedong do? He lambasted Peng Tuhui for wasting resources against the Japanese. that could have been saved against the NRA and deemed the entire event Peng Duhui's great crime.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
For some even more numbers, out of an estimated 40,000 skirmishes during the war, the CCP was there for about 200 of them.
Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
So yeah, while so many World War II dramas highlight the CCP's role, you'd think 99% should be about the NRA. Now, something that is undeniable is in the West we underplay the sacrifices China made during World War II. During the war, China lost over 20 million people, not to mention they became victims to the infamous Japanese biological warfare units such as Unit 731. Many have heard of the rape of Nanking. The list goes on and on. While these Chinese World War II dramas are not guilty of overplaying the suffering, I don't think anyone could argue that. Instead, what they're really guilty of is the portrayal of the military efficiency against Japan. While China lost 20 million plus people, the Japanese suffered roughly about 2 million casualties, though the Japanese Defense Ministry only acknowledges about 480,000 of this. Regardless of the war numbers, the fact remains Japan had the technological, material, and training advantage over the Chinese and absolutely destroyed them in just about every single battle. Chinese victories were quite rare, though of course there were incredible examples, like the 4 battles of Changsha. Yet, when you watch these World War II dramas, most of the time the Chinese are absolutely butchering the Japanese, and are at least on par with them in terms of equipment and armament. While Chinese soldiers are shown to be mowed down by machine guns every second scene, you will also see the same thing against the Japanese. And more often than not, despite an event being a Japanese victory historically, the show will try to ascertain that the Chinese somehow won said battle, or made the Japanese pay dearly for it. Take this article from Quartz in 2013, where they state 30% of Chinese primetime TV consists of Japanese soldiers being implausibly slaughtered. In this specific article, one Japanese soldier, actor Shi Zhongpeng, said that he had been killed over 200 times in the last year. In 2012, Yongchun Evening News estimated that very year, over 1 billion fictional Japanese soldiers were slaughtered. It is further estimated a Japanese soldier actor can die up to 8 times a day. It's a hell of a business model. So yeah, the historical accuracy of how the battles looked, or went, take it with a grain of salt. Another historical inaccuracy I can't help but notice is women. Beautiful women, everywhere in the military. You see them as CCP officers, as NRA officers, hell, sometimes even goddamn Imperial Japanese Army officers. They're always bombshells. Fully in makeup, clearly famous models from China, they are glaringly at the center stage of some of these dramas, as frontline soldiers, if not high-ranking officers. Now, don't get me wrong, there were female soldiers, notably in the CCP, such as in the 8th Route Army and the new 4th Army. But 99% of the female-led war effort was in the field of medicine. Nurses, doctors, and such. They were also in the labor force, and tragically, many were used as comfort women. As for the Japanese side, outside some civilian resistance during the Battle of Okinawa, no women were fighting as soldiers, let alone as officers in the IGA. Yet this does not stop the Chinese World War II dramas from portraying superwomen soldiers, sniping down fighters, killing Japanese with arrows. Yeah, that's a really popular thing in these shows for some reason. Needless to say, not too historically accurate, but we all know why they're doing it. You gotta add a little extra sexiness to grab the eyes. And boy oh boy, they go overboard sometimes. Take this one show where a nude Chinese girl is saluting CCP soldiers. Yeah, that show actually got in a lot of shit. The CCP censorship board went to town on their ass. Banhammer style. Now I have one last point that has to be brought up. The anti-Japanese aspect to all of this. If you watch any World War II films involving the Germans...
Hans, are we the baddies?
Understandably, most of the time the Wehrmacht to the SS are portrayed as absolute monsters. China very much sees the Japanese of World War II as brutal fascists, and rightfully so. The Japanese performed heinous atrocities upon the Asian mainland, and some would argue it was even worse than the Nazis. Take, for example, the Nanking Massacre, the experiments of Unit 731, or the infamous 100-man head-chopping-off competition by 2 Japanese soldiers.
That's fucked up.
The Chinese World War II dramas have every right to portray the Japanese soldiers as ruthless killers. But, I mean, holy shit. they go overboard and silly as hell. In China, it's known as the Japanese devil stereotype. Basically, Japanese soldiers are depicted as literal cackling, grinning psychopath monsters who rape and kill everything they come into contact with. And I mean like shit. It's like those goddamn creepy-ass Titans from Attack on Titan, the live-action movie from Japan. Did anybody see this movie? I went to theaters to see it. I mean, it is fucking creepy. Nightmare fuel, goddamn. These Japanese are goofy one-dimensional savages you're meant to root against. You know, as the Chinese butcher them, like hordes of zombies. Conversely, a director named Jiang Wen made a film in 2000 titled Devils at the Doorstep, where he had scenes depicting Japanese treating Chinese villagers with kindness, and the film was immediately banned by the CCP for it.
No. It's now illegal.
Go figure. Last but not least, I have to add this little funny thing. Iwata Takanori, a Japanese man and a connoisseur of Chinese World War II dramas, made an entire encyclopedia titled The Chinese Anti-Japanese Drama Reader, the Unexpected Anti-Japanese Patriotic Comedy. It covers 21 dramas containing a total of 678 episodes with a total playtime of 30,180 minutes. The book is basically a guide for Japanese interested in the genre, and it fully embraces the silliness of it. So, yeah, that was the Chinese World War II drama in a nutshell, I guess you could say. If you like this episode, please subscribe, leave a like, and tell me what other goofy shit I should tackle next. Till next time, this has been Craig from the Pacific War Channel. Over and out.